Some of you might have noticed that this is the same picture as last year, and there is a simple reason for that. I haven't been out running, so no running, no picture of me running. But the intention of it is the same. We are running as a team in Impact, and I feel that we are running in the right direction. We are getting bigger. Just looking at the Impact production team, we are now 4 developers in Sweden, 1 in Denmark, and we have a very tight connection to the new development backend team in Malmö. And then it's me and Christopher trying to support the team as good as we can. Yes. Yeah, my name is Fredrik, and I'm a part of the production team. As long as I'm welcome to present Impact Production here, I will repeat one of our biggest goals in our team, and that is always to get the information out there, as I say, all the way out there. And what I mean with the information is, from the beginning, the information that you as a designer add to the model, to the projects, the geometry, the materials, where it's placed in the model, and so on. And this information with the Impact database it's very easy to access if you have the right tools. So that's the goal we have, to get fun tools, good features, and get all the way out there. And out there, I mean, yeah, at the construction site, in the production, in the factories, the guys who work with the transports, and all the persons out in the storage, and so on. Yes, we have 40 minutes, and I'm going to focus on Impact Element Control System, how we handle the disorders and the rejections in version 16, and then we have some more news in the end for the latest version. So let's start. Impact Element Control System. Just a quick recap of what our goal was from last year. And I've been out there, and there is many different kind of controls and checkups out in the factory that you have today. It could be very advanced with all the measurements and tolerances and so on, and pictures and so. And it could be very, very simple ones, just saying, have you got the casting material and prepared for the elements and so on. It could be in German, and yeah, and so on. The main goal for us in Impact Production was to put this in Impact. And it was also to put this in the beginning for the production part. So it's the platform for it is the cast module. So we are looking in the beginning now for the production part and around production. We have discussed some of you here has been interested. Why don't we start looking at this for design maybe and then project? But we start with the production, and we want to do it good there, and we see how it gets. I think this is a really good feature. So it will be implemented in the cast module. This was the prototype from last year, just showing that you can add 1 or more controls for each element, and that we have simple and measurement check. I'll show you more of that. We wanted to let you be able to decide what kind of tolerances you want to add when you do the measurement, how harsh and how tough you want to be to you in the company, and what criteria you have from the when you get certified and so on. And this one is pretty important. We want to connect. As you know, we have a long process in the Impact for the elements, from the drawing and then to when it's erected and approved from the customer. Around the production, we have information to the elements that it's planned in production, and then we know when it's produced, and after that we can add when it's in storage. But what we've done now is added 2 of those status type, which is called planned and approved and produced and approved. So when you create a control checklist, when that is finished, we want to be able to connect this via the status type to a new status so that you can see it in the projects and follow up there. This is just an example. What you see here is a list of all the elements out on my storage. And before I had status 40, the green one, and 50 with the storage location. And in this case, I've added 45 so that you can track all the elements that is produced, but also approved. And in this case, the control, the after production control is done. Yeah, this is what I told you about. If the persons who is out there want to show this in the model, it should be easy to access. So today we have the impact element control system added into our impact mobile application. So you can look at it into the mobile, you can scan the element and find it there, or you can do it in the tablet, but of course you can do it in the client version as well. The last picture here is what we have today, change status, issues and add note, but we've added element control here. I'll show you a picture of that. So this was a prototype, doesn't look like this today. So now I'll show you how it looks today. It's in 16, so I don't think any one of you have tried it yet. I know that we have some betas out there, but this is from my point of view. The platform for it, we wanted it to be very visual. I've been out in factories and I know there is many ways of working with these quality systems and the controls and the checkups. But mainly I've seen two ways of handling this. Either it's the person who creates the element. The person who is out there is responsible for their own element that day. I'm responsible for checking that everything is done for preparation and everything is done for the reinforcement, the forms, the custom material, everything is there before I cast element, and after that I have to check up that everything is done for delivery. That is one way. The other way could be that you do as good as you can, and then you have a person who is responsible for the controls, like a quality manager or something. In both those scenarios, we want it to be very visual to see what is done and not. So what you see here, for you who doesn't work with the cost planning, this is the calendar. You see the tables up here, and you see the dates. So this is today's date. The colors here, the blue, the orange, and the brownish one is project colors. So in this factory, we have planned the blue project here on table 2. There is the brown one on table 4 and up to table 7 and so on. This is one way of looking at it, at the calendar. But if you go in here and change this to the control colors, it will appear like this. So I think, in my mind, this is very simple. Green, good. Red, yeah, as you say in 2019, it has potential. Yeah. Good old days. Green is good, red is bad. So what does bad mean? For example, as I said, 29th here is today's, it's not today's date, but it was when I took the picture. So everything is green today, very good. We can produce those elements. But if we look yesterday here, we have a cost table number 4. There's an element or many elements. In some reason it's red. So if you look, up, it's yesterday and the past, and if you look down, it's the future. So looking back, and the elements are produced. We've told the system that is produced. We are looking at the controls that is connected to produced and approved. If we're looking into the future, they are not produced yet, so then we're looking at the preparation controls. That's why they are red. I'll give you an example. If I should click here, going more into detail, see that what happened yesterday, why is it still red? So clicking there, I can see that, okay, there's 4 elements, sandwich walls. And this is in Swedish, means preparation control, done. Everything is okay for that, so we have produced it. But there is one element control, the after control, the post-production control, which is red. And that is why it's still 40, because I've connected this to 45, produced and approved. So what I can do then, looking at this element, sandwich wall 2016, and I can see, yes, the preparation is done. Arheden has done his work, and we have the date for it. But the element control, the after control, is not done. So we're looking closer to that, and we can see that the measurement for the length, height, diagonal, recess, and so on is done. But Arheden here, maybe he went for coffee. He didn't do the last part, so we're calling him. Do your job? Yes, sir. And I go and I click, do the checkup. And as you can see here, we have the tolerances, and we can also, in some part, we can get the design value from the one who is making the element from the design part, from Revit or from AutoCAD. So if it's 340, the thickness, I do the check here, and automatically the element control, yes, and I save it. Go back here, the element control is green, 45, and back here it's green again. So that's mainly how it works, and I think it's pretty simple way of working with this. Yep, this is just showing you that we can add different controls and checklists to different element types. I've seen out that in the factories that there is different controls for, let's say, hollow core and a massive wall, or if you compare pre-stress beam to a sandwich wall, there will be different. So you can have many controls for each element type and many different kind of controls for each element. This one is just, I know it's pretty small, but on top here, simple check, and you have measurement check. So the simple check is just, it's much for the preparation. See that everything is done. You have collected all the custom materials, you have done the reinforcement, you have created the form correctly, and you have done everything before casting. All right, so that's the checklist. So you get the name of it, you can write it in your own language, you get the check, you get the date and the time when it's done, and who has created this. The measurement, also the name. You can connect it, as I said, to a parameter from design. But here you also add the tolerances, plus minus 5 millimeters, for example. And then you also write the actual value from it. So it's not just it's okay or not, but it also you can write. So we save the actual value in the database. I think you have some, we can also, I've seen some of your controls that you have some information about how to do the measurement. If you want, you can add this to the controls. And this is how it looks on the tablet when I open it on the tablet. Information is in Swedish now, but preparation parts, the status, you click here and you get the date and the time and who did the control. And this is for the measurement. So here you write the actual value. If you want, you can add a remark as well. If something is not correct, you find here, you can create a disorder, but we go into details about that later on. Some pictures from reality, or kind of reality. Could be used out on the storage, for example. In the post-production control, some of the controls could be out in the storage, for example. Could have you put a window into it, and or you have to paint the element, for example. This could be in the after control. Yep, that was it. We take questions in the end. So now we're looking at the issues, disorders, and rejections. There is two big new features, and I think both are very, very nice for handling and looking at the issues and improve the company. When you're looking, how did we do this year? And there's two parts for this. First one, as you all know that if you have started working with the issues in impact, we had before that we can, four categories. It's a design, production, erection, and transport. We have changed this so you can add it in your own language. You can change this if you want, and you can add more. So in my case, I added storage, for example, if something happens to the storage. So that's one reason. And beneath reason, we've also added sub-reason. So clicking production, I've added surface, measurement, lifts, concrete, and so on. You can add it as many as you like and call them whatever you like. And we've also done the third step here. So beneath sub-reason, we have category. So clicking concrete, I have added here just to wrong recipe and coverage. You know more, but yeah, this is just an example. You think this could be good? Yeah, someone nodding. Good. And I cannot see my next picture. I think it will show the next feature here. And I think this is a really nice one. Let's see. Yep. We've added the possibility to add pictures to the disorders. And I think this is a really, really nice feature to it. So if you're out there on site, for example, you find something that's not good with the element, you open up your tablet or your phone, you get the element, you find it, or you scan the QR code, taking the picture of it, and here you can see, write the name of it, status, deadline, who you assign it to someone, and then here you have the reason, production, and the sub-reason, and the category if you want. And you can add issue time and cost if you want, like that. So this will be saved, connected to this disorder. Another example here, take a picture, and you can add, as you see here, deadline, and then reason, sub-reason, surface, category, formwork, for example, and you can write a description, and if you know, a solution as well. You don't have to write all of this directly, because I know it's very tough to know exactly how much time do I spend and what does it cost and so on, but you can do this afterwards in the system. This one, production, concrete, wrong recipe, for example. Yep, and those three examples that I showed, it was one single element that you found in the phone, for example, or in tablet out on the storage or out in the construction site. But this one is, I know some of you have added the QR code to the delivery note. So this is my own delivery note. I've added the QR code, and I can see the elements that is on it. And if you get this on site when the truck is arriving, you can scan the QR code. And this is how it looks in the mobile phone. You get the three elements here. And the reasons why we added this before was that you can click here on the transport number 555, say that it's the yes, back again. Yeah, and tell the system that it's delivered, and it's getting delivered here. I didn't in my picture, but yeah. But the reason I'm showing you this now is because if you scan the transport, and you see that something is wrong with the element in transport, sometimes it happens that they break on transport. You can click the element, click here the information, and now you can see that we've added element control and disorders down here. So clicking this warning triangle, you take a picture, or let's say that it's scraped by strapping, or a little bit worse maybe. Take a picture of that, the reason, sub-reason, and category, and assign it to someone. Yeah, you got that one. How much it cost? Sorry for that. And you can add the information here. and then you save it, and it will be saved into the database, and to the resource manager you can find all the disorders there. So if you open it up in resource manager, it would look like this, for example. Transport and error with a strapping and scrape by strapping. So if we go back to this picture here, I think this could be very good for follow-up. As you can see here on top, we have, no, maybe you cannot see, but I can tell you that it says reason, sub-reason, and category. So when the year has passed, you can filter it out. Where do we focus next year, for example? Do we have to spend more? We have to investigate because all the errors is coming from table number 7, or this Fredrik Arheden, he doesn't, yeah, for example. Or this project. I think this is a really nice feature. Okay. Some more news in 16. As you've seen on some pictures that Desi showed, we have changed the color scheme, the interface, and so on. I've heard of some of you who tested the beta that you cannot find the tabs. We changed a little bit in Resource Manager. So planning that is used most, as we see it, is placed in the beginning. Then we have workload production if we want to go deeper into project, and then we have storage, standard items, stock items, and then we have divided issues into rejections and disorders, and then we have a message log and settings. So this is how it looks today. So everything is still there, but a little bit different order. This feature you asked for directly when we released 15, I think, because we've added this new possibility in Project Manager to save the grid layout in the ID grid. Because we have so much information in the grid, so you want to save your own. And yeah, all of you who's working in production said, yeah, do we have it in Resource Manager? Unfortunately, we didn't, but now it's there in 16. So in this case, yeah, I just wanted to see 7 or 8 columns, for example. Yeah, could be, yeah, just an example. Could be for I want to see what I've produced the last month. I have my filter out here. I can choose the interval and then save this grid layout for Fredrik produced elements. And I use this each month, for example. I can save as many as I like. I think I've added some more examples here. Yeah. This one is small, yeah. You heard about the saying, picture says more than 1,000 words. I told myself that my pictures shows 1,000 words. But I'm telling you what you're seeing here. I told you this is the platform for the ones who is planning the production. And if you're in Resource Manager, you want to handle those elements that is going to be planned in your factory. So in this case, there is some more information. I want to see how much costing material is it, how much formwork is it, does the element has a drawing that is ready for production? Is there any revisions, for example, and so on. So you can save this grid for, I call it Fredrik cost planning. So you change to that one if you want. And yeah, I've added some more examples. I have no idea if this is good examples, but just to get the inspiration for you. So in those cases, three cases, I've added just 2 columns. So this is the project and the factory. If you want to see that, okay, what kind of projects did we produce last month or 6 months, for example, you look at projects, what projects, and if you have many factories in your company, you can see what factories produce those elements. Yeah, just an example. Another one, this is maybe for future, for the ones who is planning the pre-stressed elements. So in this case, I'm only looking at 2 columns, and I grouped by them. So you can see this is five projects, and beneath there, I'm showing what kind of strand pattern is included. And this one is, I'm looking at my factories, what kind of height. I don't know if this is good. Just an example, just to get you to inspire you for that. Yes. We've done some new things in workload. So this is seeing what you are planning to produce in the coming period. Two things. The first one is 2 colors. Before we had only one. So we had sum up the what we call rough planned and the fine planned elements, but now we divided. So the turquoise, yeah, the blue one here in the bottom is the rough planned, and the light blue is rough planned. So we divided into 2. And the other feature is, you see the red line here. If you have been working with workload before in 15, you know that, yeah, we had the red line, but that was only for time, because we had a schedule connected to each division. But in 16, we've added the possibility for you to decide the capacity we have for each factory. So in my case here, I'm looking at division wall 1 and wall 2 in my west factory, and I'm looking at gross area. So this is saying that, okay, we can produce each week 4,000 square meters gross area. And then we can add for cost and for number of elements and so on. So you can get this red maximum capacity for each week now. Yep. Yeah, some improvements in cost estimation. Filter out elements that you have planned in a factory, so you don't have to see all the factories, for example. You can see elements that is only ready for production or only produced. Yep. And I don't know how the time is, but it's okay. Yeah. Yep. So this is the last one. I know that this might not look like this in your factories every day, that the transport's standing there waiting with some intro music like starting the morning, but for the ones who's responsible for the transport, I know it's tough work to handle it, even though we have the transport and the stack module in Impact. But what we've added here, this is the transport planning in 16. So I've sorted out one project just for this example. We have the transport numbers 13, 12, 11, and so on. And the feature here is this one. So before we showed what kind of stacks we have on the transport, but we've now added also this green and red, and you know what green and red means. So green here is ready for delivery, and the red one is not done yet. So looking at this one, transport number 12, there's stack number 14 and 15. You can see here, 14, 15. 14 has 2 elements, wall panel, and they are state 60. So they are called off, they are produced and everything. On this stack, one element is not, it's just planned, it's not produced yet. So this stack is not ready for delivery. And you can do this manually by going into the stack planning, telling that this stack is ready for delivery. Or, as I told you in the beginning, we want to do it as simple as possible, because it's the persons who work in the storage who knows this, who has this information. So either you add a QR code for the stack planning list if you're using something like that, or this is a stack, what do we call it, label. Information about the stack, stack ID, how many elements, and the QR code. So you open the mobile again, scan this QR code, stack number 56, click here, and you say it's ready for delivery, and you save it. So it will be updated. I didn't have an updated picture here, but yeah, as you know, this could be turned green, and you can see that it's very easy to see, okay, let's filter out the transport that is called off for the next week, for example, and then you can see is the stacks ready for delivery for this. That was my last slide, so I'll thank you all for listening, and let's let's see if you have some questions.